Thank you. Our first step was to share the knowledge that Tamara and I had gained through the PD sessions with the rest of the staff. We did this through our curriculum day, and the things that we focused on were the goals that we had taken from Peter during our sessions, and they were making the goals for learning explicit to students, having most of the class working on tasks beyond their level of understanding and thinking, communicating high expectations, including believing that the kids can learn. A strong emphasis was put on number sense and number fluency, and also planning classroom investigations.
Okay, changes we've made so far. A strong emphasis on developing the number sense and number fluency, planning classroom investigations and using the early years numeracy testing for planning. Like in the past, you do your 1 hour per child testing, and then you wouldn't look at it again till you tested them again. So we really looked at using that to plan. And also the on-demand testing we've just started, correct, for some of the grades? Grade 3, 4?
Yes.
3 4s have started and that one.
5 6s.
And 5 6s.
Okay. The first thing teachers automatically adopted, if they hadn't already, was developing the strong number sense and fluency. And we've just got a few examples here. At the moment, we're building our bank of games and ideas to help as part of introductions, mainly during our numeracy sessions. And here are some.
Okay, planning investigations. I think that's where teachers, really need to get together and work smarter and not harder and come up with lots and lots of ideas that we can implement in the classroom. And this is just some games and activities. I think your grade did?
Yeah, my grade, and there's also a 5 6. We've actually been using Peter Sullivan, if I can plug his book, Open-Ended Activities in Mathematics. It's been fantastic. We've actually been taking some of those, extending it and changing it as well to cater for our students, but it's a really good resource to use.
Yeah, and the kids actually love maths now because it's much more hands-on than it was prior to doing the course, correct?
Okay, we've also been using, we had some time through CRT to interview our students in the number component of the interview. We haven't done the full thing because I think that will probably take too long. We'll probably be there the whole term just interviewing. This is just one of the class's results, and what I've done is overlapped the February results with July's, so you could see the movement of the students through our change of planning, using the interview to drive our planning as well and drive our delivery. So the green obviously indicates the February, and the red dots indicate the gaps that they filled by July. The yellow part is just a few things that showed some transfers, overseas trips and special needs. So you could see the ones with no movement where there was some underlying things there for that.
I don't know if you know the Stepping Stone CD that a group of teachers in the Sunbury cluster put together. We got our hands on that. I don't know if it was illegal or not, but someone passed it on. Anyway, so we had a look at that and we thought it actually ties in with the early years numeracy. So when you see there's a gap, you can look back and see what stepping stones a child needs to achieve that gap. So actually Susie's using it to plan, and she actually started it in her grade, and then she showed someone in the grade 1 2s and they took it on board, and now we've got prep to 2s all using this stepping stones component to look at where the kids fell in their interview and group them and actually bring them down in the introduction and focus, is that correct? Focus on their needs. You're not teaching to the actual dot point, but you're grouping the kids to which areas they're missing out on. And with maths, I suppose, if they've missed one concept way back, they're not going to be able to move on to the next. So would you like to elaborate on that in your room?
We're just hoping with the interview not to use it just an assessment of learning, but assessment for learning. We found that I think last year somebody had trialled it and you kind of do it and then you leave it until the end of the year. So this way we're using it to as our planning. The groups are fluid And what we've done there with the students' names is where they had that gap, we've placed them into the planner, and then if you go to the next slide, we've also got the term planner. So each growth point that there were gaps in have been now taught. This was, I think, term 2, and then we re-look at it. So the end of term 2, the July results, and then created our term 3 planner.
So this is 2 teachers working together, so they combine their grades. One teacher takes one
session, yep.
Yep, session while the other takes the other. And it's for applied?
That's for number.
Number, just for number.
We tend to take, the applied tends to take on the more investigation type focus.
Which you saw the slides before.